In what order do you prioritize life? Like family, training, work. In what order do you typically prioritize that?
I mean, family first. That's the thing, especially with the kids.
Mhm.
Um, I say goal number one is to stay married. Like that's kind of that's
Good goal. Good goal.
I even say that's behind staying alive, right? Like goal number one is stay married. Goal number two is stay alive. And then and then you get on to the kids, obviously, right? Because they are that is a time bomb, man. That is a limited thing. They are not going to be around that long. I mean, you look up, and it's like because they're 6 and 10, like they're going to first and fifth grade. Like fifth grade, shit. Like that's like, dude, that's getting, when I used to teach, I taught mostly high school, but I did spend a couple years with like some fourth to eighth graders. And I remember it's like, yeah, man, they're like the older kids at the elementary schools. And so, yeah, man, blink and they're older. So that's one of those things. And uh I mean, there's that. And then you get into like working out and business and stuff. And like there's a time, there's seasons of life, right? So actually, um for the last or for I should say for a stretch of like 4 or 5 years from when my second daughter was born until she started kindergarten, I didn't really work out as much as I wanted to or felt like I should. Like I stayed active, but I legit like went to the gym to work out 2 to 3 days a week.
Really?
And other days I'll do other stuff, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. On the weekend, I'd put on a 50-pound backpack and go for a 30-minute ruck walk type of a thing, right? But it wasn't like I didn't have, but Monday through Friday, I wasn't making it down to the gym to coach classes. It just wasn't, the mornings didn't really work for that. And in the afternoons, I had stuff going on and home before dinner with the family every evening. And that's important. And but the thing is too, it's like, you can plan that out. Um, and if you're in pretty good shape and you kind of know what you're doing, that's enough to maintain, right? And if you're eating pretty good and everything, you're fine. You can be in pretty good shape that way. Um, but uh, then when she started kindergarten, it all of a sudden I realized I was like, oh man, in the mornings, like the mornings went from, it was like a 2-person job getting these girls out of the house or whatever to like not a 2-person job anymore. Like, it's like you're only doing one drop off. Before it's like you're dropping one kid off at this school and you're taking her to preschool or to my in-laws if they're watching her, whatever's going on, right? They're just like all this stuff. So, um, and then the kids get older. It's like, oh, they can brush their own hair now, and they can reach their own clothes out of the closet, and like all this stuff. Just like the mornings just blew open, and I was, hey, to my wife, say, Jess, I think I'm gonna start going to like the 6:30 a.m. class a couple days. She's like, yeah, you should. So it's just been the last, year and a half or so that I've been, getting down there. Like I said, I try to do the CrossFit classes 4 times a week, and then and then I actually have a hobby for the first time in like 4 years also. Because like I said, seasons of life. There's a time where it's like, you know what? I used to really like golfing, but like I choose not to. I'm not gonna say I don't have time. I'm choosing not to go spend, 4 hours on or 4 or 5 hours out of my weekend at the golf course or in the middle of the week. That's just not, I have other priorities, right? I'm choosing not to spend my time doing that. Um, and so anyway, but yeah, in the last year or so, since they're both in school all day, every day, same school drop off, getting older, get themselves ready. So I've been actually working out as much as I want, doing that type of stuff. So there's times where the business entrepreneur stuff is more important than getting your workout in. And doesn't mean, and you got to know your limits too, right? Like I know if I don't work out, I almost always do something now, right? Like even if it's like a 20-minute thing, whatever. But if you don't, I don't have to go do a hard workout today. If I go 2 days without, that's all right. But I know myself, if there's 3 days in a row where I haven't done something challenging, like physically demanding, I start getting weird. Like I'm like irritable. I'm stressed out. It's just not like I need that kind of release, right? And so that's part of it too, is you got to find, everybody's different. Some people, maybe it's every day. Maybe you have to, like do something, some sort of high intensity thing every day. And if you know that, then, fit that in, work that in. There's ways to do things that doesn't mean spend 2 hours doing it, but you can walk outside your doorstep and go run 2 miles hard, and it's not, and be back in
16
less than
minutes, right? Yeah.
yeah, less less than 20 minutes, right? Like, so, um, that's something to keep in mind too. And I like little challenges like that. I've done that before too. Like, I'm just going to run a mile every day and just kind of see how long it goes. And it's like, hey, get up, go run a mile. And then, next thing you know, it's like, 40 something, 50 something days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, so I like doing that type of stuff also. Um, yeah.
Yeah. I think knowing your limits a very good thing to think about. I finally asked my general manager here at the gym, I'm like, I love training almost too much, and I'll train 6 days a week, 2 hours a day. And I finally got to the point where, I know I'm not getting 8 hours of sleep every night. I get,
Yeah.
I probably average 7, but on mornings I coach, I
Yeah.
get, 6, if I'm lucky. And then on mornings I don't, I let myself now sleep till 6:30. Whereas before, I'd force myself to get up at 5:30, and I'm like, okay, I need more sleep for this, to cognitively function well. If it was all physical, I could get by on less sleep, but to cognitively function well and be creative in business, and which is my true competition, right? Like that's what I'm really building. I need to have somebody telling me like when to stop being a bitch and also when to rest, right?
And for a long time, I was getting up at 4:30 and I was doing it 7 days a week,
Wow.
because I got stuff to do, right? Like, get up at 4:30, by 5 o'clock, I'm work from 5 to 6:30 or 7. Kids get up at 7, and I did that 7 days a week. And then at one point, I realized I'm like, yeah, well, I also need to sleep, right? I'm not getting enough sleep and that type of thing. And so I get up at 5 now, Monday through Friday without fail. Weekends, it's hit or miss. Weekends, I kind of don't set an alarm anymore, but I'm never really in bed past, 7 at the latest. But that's like, I'm like, man, 7, talk about sleeping in. This is
Yeah.
wild, dude.
Feels
But
like every day's gone.
yeah, but also it depends. If I'm in bed pretty early on a Friday or Saturday night, whatever, I'll still get up early, right? Just kind of varies. Talk about the whole like goal one, staying married. As much as anything, it's nice. Talk about like Sunday mornings, Saturday mornings, whatever. For my wife, for my alarm not to go off, right? That's kind of it's like whenever I get up, then I get up, right? And so there's that type of thing too.
Yeah, I couldn't wake my wife up if I tried, most of the time. So the alarm she'll tell me, she's like, did your alarm go off this morning? I'm like, yeah. She's like, no idea.